Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. A woman is dead and a man is in hospital after a horror head-on smash in Longford this morning. Investigators are still unsure what caused the woman's car to cross lanes, but heavy rain is believed to be a contributing factor.
A red van reduced to twisted metal. A white truck slumps forward, its front cabin crushed. Emergency services were called to the confronting head-on smash just after 5 a.m. in Longford.
When the attending units and the ambulance arrived, the female driver of the red Kia was deceased.
The truck driver, a 63-year-old Avondale man, was taken to hospital with leg injuries. It's still not known how the 27-year-old Launceston woman ended up on the wrong side of the road.
We believe it was raining heavily at the time. Certainly that's been a factor involved in another 3 or 4 crashes that we've had today, but at the moment that's obviously could be a contributing factor to this crash.
Illawarra Road was closed for hours as crews cleared the scene and investigators searched for answers.
Look, it's tragic. Any life lost on our roads is tragic. Hopefully we can shed some light on why this crash has occurred, but another tragic loss of life on our roads.
There was no other traffic on the road at the time of the crash, but police are appealing for anyone who may have seen either vehicle beforehand to contact them. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A woman has been taken to hospital with minor injuries after she was struck by a bus this morning in Launceston. She was crossing St John Street just before 9 this morning when the incident occurred.
The impact was very low speed. She got some bruising on her legs as a result. She was taken to the Launceston Hospital to be checked out, but she's fine.
Where wild weather kept emergency crews busy around the state with several minor crashes. In some of the toughest conditions imaginable, search crews last night pulled off the remarkable rescue of a rock climber on the Tasman Peninsula. Our reporter Michelle Wisby joins us now with the latest. Good evening, Michelle. Just how dangerous were conditions last night?
Joe, even the most experienced search crews told us it was definitely up there with some of their toughest rescues. Paramedics, police and pilots all working to winch this injured rock climber 45 metres up a sheer cliff on a stretcher. Crews were called to the scene at the iconic totem pole on the Tasman Peninsula around 8 last night. A party of 3 was tackling the climb when a 26-year-old man sustained a spinal injury traversing back to Cape Hoy. These dramatic images give us a glimpse of just how tough the rescue mission was. Crews worked throughout the night in windy and dark conditions, winching the man from his location to the top of the cliff. He was then carried 200 metres across scrubby terrain before being winched again into an awaiting helicopter. The man was then taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital in a stable condition, his companions walking out safely. Authorities saying all 3 climbers were well prepared.
Yeah, experienced climbers, well prepared. They've done nothing wrong. It's just climbing's a dangerous pastime, and sometimes incidents like this occur.
The entire operation took almost 12 hours. Joe, it was a marathon effort for these remarkable rescue crews in what must have been a long and tricky night.
The coroner has told an inquest she's having difficulty in determining the circumstances of a man's death on Flinders Island in 2015. Witnesses say Robert Mansell fell from rocks while fishing with a drinking buddy. But the court also heard they had a toxic relationship and were involved in a serious altercation in the weeks before the incident.
A disappearance from Flinders Island coming under scrutiny from the coroner today. The inquest hearing 42-year-old Robert Charles Mansell fell from rocks near Palana while fishing with a friend, Joshua Kennedy, in August 2015. Today, the pair's relationship probed. Another friend of Mr Mansell telling the coroner they had a very funny relationship, at times toxic. In the evenings, if they were both drinking together, they'd end up in arguments. Timothy New telling the court around July, weeks before the disappearance, Mr Mansell told him he was involved in an altercation with Mr Kennedy, who pinned him to the ground and was choking him. Stephanie Riggle faced the inquest to give evidence after failing to appear at earlier hearings. She said she drank with the pair on occasion, telling the coroner, "We all had our arguments, nothing ever serious though. Josh, Robbie and I were like black sheep over there. They were like brothers." With Miss Riggle still to give more evidence, the coroner directed her to appear tomorrow and warned if she failed to show, there would be consequences. During today's proceedings, Coroner McTaggart said trying to determine the circumstances of Mr Mansell's death was proving to be difficult. She urged witnesses to try and recall as much as they could so she can give answers to his family. The inquest continues tomorrow. Michael Breen, 7 Tasmania News.
Construction will restart on the massive Cattle Hill wind farm after workers were forced to down tools because of bushfires. The $300 million project has been delayed because of the Great Pine Tier fire burning in the Central Highlands. The wind farm is expected to be completed by the end of the year. Meanwhile, new pictures have shown the damage inflicted by fire on the Tar-An mill at Longford. The company says the full damage bill is not yet known, but likely to be in the multi-millions. As more Tasmanians turn to their own energy sources to run homes, a new $1.8 million project is investigating just what impact this has on our traditional power generators. From solar panels to electric vehicles and batteries, these at-home renewable energy options are becoming increasingly popular. But a new project led by the University of Tasmania will look at just what role traditional energy creators, such as coal-fired power plants and hydro generators, will have in the future.
They actually do a job at managing the system or keeping it in balance. What we want to do is work out how we can use thousands of small generators and energy storage devices to balance the system.
The 2-year project aims to develop new software to ensure all systems are running smoothly together. Police say they're extremely disappointed after 24 drink and drug drivers were pulled off the road during the weekend's Party in the Paddock Music Festival. 12 drug drivers and 12 drink drivers were stopped by police near the event at White Hills.
Oh, it's disgusting, really. It places undue risk to the community, and it should not be tolerated at all. So we are very disappointed in relation to that.
Police say they were pleased overall with behaviour at the festival. More than 200 students have gathered at the University of Tasmania to support and encourage girls to study science. The day is part of an international push to increase the number of women working in the sector and to celebrate the achievements of those already making strides in the field.
Inspiring the next generation of female scientists, students from across Hobart taking a special tour of the University of Tasmania today, celebrating the International Day of Women and Girls in Science.
I think it is really important, it has a lot of jobs for when you're older, and science is very interesting. I really like chemistry at the moment. I like all science.
It's really interesting that our school gets to learn about things that it's not known in a normal classroom environment.
The girls from grades 3 to 9 having the opportunity to build molecules and learn about different animal skulls, inspired by some of the nation's leading researchers, perhaps even fostering a lifelong love of the field.
It's really important for them also to meet real scientists and demystify the university environment, so all of that's going to go on today.
The university committed to increasing the number of girls studying science, technology, engineering and mathematics into the future.
Quite a lot of girls are interested when they're in primary school, and then they lose that interest sort of sometime through their schooling years. So it's important for us to sort of, get the message across that if they are interested in science, there are opportunities.
Tassie's got to be packed full of Nobel laureates, I reckon, in the future.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
A Tasmanian organisation is supporting learner drivers in getting their licences through the use of real-life videos. Its focus is on those with low literacy skills and people new to our community.
Gaining a driver's licence can be a rite of passage, but for many it can feel like an unachievable task. These videos are providing support for those struggling to pass their learner's licence test.
Really explain in colour and with a voiceover as well as in writing just how they can learn the road rules.
They're designed with instructions that are clear, especially for those who struggle with literacy or who have English as a second language.
New migrants coming to our communities and getting their licence is such a key to their own freedom and their family's freedom.
Those that couldn't pass doing the online test can pass after they've done a course with this, or if they're at home they can look at it online.
The program's been running for 2 years and today new videos were released.
In that 2 years, over 300 young people with literacy issues have passed the test that couldn't pass it before.
So having a licence is a key to getting employment and gaining employment, but also to getting into education and training opportunities.
Allowing many Tasmanians to get on the road to success. Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian rock lobster may be the holy grail of local seafood, but catching the expensive cray can be dangerous and downright scary. Tonight, a 10-part series takes us along for the ride when Tasmania's very own lobster men enter the state's wildest waters in pursuit of the prized catch.
Hang on! Australia's deadliest stretch of water. But if you're game, there's big money to be made out here.
Aussie Lobster Men was filmed alongside 6 crews who spent weeks at a time out at sea. The first episode premieres on 7 Mate at 8:30 tonight.
Welcome back. After being snubbed by selectors countless times, Hurricane star Matthew Wade has strengthened his case for national honours, named the Domestic Player of the Year overnight. It comes as his side ramps up preparations ahead of Thursday night's Big Bash semi-final.
Wade started the domestic season under added pressure after George Bailey relinquished the Hurricanes and Tigers captaincies.
Yeah, George kind of threw that on me as well as the Tassie stuff, so I didn't have much time to think about it, which was probably a good thing. I got the tap on the shoulder probably a week before the tournament and said, you got the reins, so enjoying it. It makes it easy when you've got players like we do in our squad.
The extra responsibility doing nothing to hamper his form, which saw him become the leading Sheffield Shield run scorer over the past 12 months, along with some blistering performances in the domestic one-day cup and this season's Big Bash.
In Tassie for the last 18 months, I really appreciate everything that you guys do for me, and obviously all the players that voted for me. It's a player-voted award, something that I'm very proud of, so thank you, enjoy the night.
But Wade hasn't been able to avoid the talk surrounding selection in the national side, overlooked for Aussie honours across all formats, despite being arguably the form batter in the country.
Admire the way he's managed to maintain his form across a long period of time and across formats with with the scrutiny and being asked about it constantly, but he seems to put that out of his mind and with the bat in hand.
Bailey more focused on Thursday night's BBL semi-final clash with the Melbourne Stars at Blunston Arena, with a win set to give them a shot at redemption, having fallen just one result short of clinching last season's title.
People can say what they like. You can be in good form, you can be in bad form. At the end of the day, 4 teams make the finals, and then 4 teams are hoping like heck that they come out and play their best game of the season on Thursday and Friday.
Some of the world's best distance runners will converge on Hobart in the coming days ahead of Sunday's annual Run the Bridge event. A field of 27 elite men, including 3 Olympians, 4-time winner Liam Adams and the current Australian record holder Ben St Lawrence will battle it out for Lion honours. And after finishing up second last year, Hobart runner Dijon Ghebreselassie says he's in the right shape to go one better this time around.
I can definitely say that I'm in better shape now. So hopefully I can try to run probably around 28:40, 28:45. Yeah, that would be a nice PB for me if I can do that.
The Battle of the Sexes also returns this year with bonus prize money on offer for the first male or female across the line, with the elite women's race starting at 7:26 Sunday morning, followed by the elite men's field 4 minutes later. With the new look basketball season looming, Launceston Tornadoes coach Derek Washington says he's hungrier than ever for a title. The American-born coach claims to have watched last year's Siebel Grand Final defeat more than 10 times, but he says he wouldn't have done anything differently if he had his time again.
I don't know. I mean, we did the best that we could do. Obviously, you always can shoot the ball better, play a little bit better defense, but at the end of the day, I was very proud of my ladies last year and what they accomplished. I'm itching to get back on the floor with my players. They're excited that I'm here too.
The side begins training this week with a season schedule expected to be released on Friday. And the Hobart Huskies women's side have been given a massive boost with the club signing Kayla George for the 2019 Victoria Premier League basketball season. The towering 6'4" forward has spent the past 4 years playing in the WNBA for sides the Phoenix Mercury and Dallas Wings, and was also a part of the gold medal winning Opal side at last year's Commonwealth Games. After bursting onto the horse racing scene with 3 wins from 3 starts, Mystical Pursuit is being touted as the one to watch at tomorrow night's Gold Sovereign. The event will kick off the Summer Racing Carnival in Launceston with a centrepiece cup race, hoping to win back fans after tinkering with the time slot last year.
She's the flawless filly.
Mystical Pursuit by almost 3 lengths on the line.
And now Mystical Pursuit will look to extend her perfect debut, entering tomorrow night's $150,000 Gold Sovereign as favourite.
It's actually 3/4 sister to Mystic Journey, who's been flying around our tracks of late and is probably one of the best horses in the state at the moment, trained by Adam Trinder.
The Gold Sovereign, a showpiece for 2-year-olds, will open the racing carnival in Launceston. It'll culminate in the $200,000 Launceston Cup, but a widely panned change to the time slot, which had last year's main race starting at 6:15, has been scrapped. This year's start time is still unconfirmed, but it will be at least an hour earlier.
It created some issues with getting people back out, interstaters and trainers, jockeys and the like. So we're trying to, we've tried to address that, and we think we're going to be pretty right this year.
Also gone, the Female Jockey Championships, scratched after its first and only running last year. But the return to earlier racing and a new marquee offering entry and food for $80 is hoping to entice more fans to the track.
We just had a bit of a gap between the car spots and the corporate dining and what have you, so we just wanted to make sure we catered for all people.
And we could witness history when EastEnder goes for the elusive triple of Devonport, Hobart and Launceston Cup wins.
There's a $100,000 bonus from Tabcorp as well for the double, for the Launceston and Hobart, so I'm sure they'll be keen on that.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Good, Joe. If you are looking for a tip for the big race, don't get it from me.
Right, OK, thank you for
Probably
that.
Tasmania's worst punter.
Yeah, oh, I don't know, Murph's right there with you. All right, thanks so much for that, Tom.
Good evening. Flinders Island and Friendly Beaches reached 23 to be the high today, just 17 though through the population centres. The passage of the cold front had temperatures up to 8 below average. St Helens 21, King Island and Smithton 17, Low Headon Grove 16, Ouse 15, Lyawini 8 with maybe snow on the way tonight. The cloud with the front brought 61 millimetres of rain last night to Mount Victoria and Mount Reid. Today, 11 millimetres, the highest at Mount Barrow. Now, that cold front also extends over Victoria and South Australia with a broad area of cold air in its wake. Convective cloud with thunderstorms further north, most of the mainland cloud-free. Tomorrow, a high over the Bight continues the westerly flow over the state as a trough moves to our east. That lines up with the trough crossing from the Tasman right up and around to Western Australia. West to southwest winds at 20 to 30 knots, a bit lighter over the east and inland with swells rising to 5 metres. A strong wind warning from Tasman Island clockwise to St Helens Point. A minor flood warning has been issued for the lower North Esk River. A possible afternoon shower for Hobart tomorrow, just 18 degrees, 17 for Geeston with a few showers and a possible shower for Bothwell. Launceston partly cloudy along with Devonport and Cressy all on 19 degrees. Burnie tomorrow, a possible shower and 18, 17 the top for Strawn and showers easing from Curry on King Island. Mostly sunny for St Helens, 20 the high and 19 for Swansea, 18 for Orford. The UV, 8's all round and that's very high. On Thursday, a shower over the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands. Most temperatures pushing back into the 20s. Showers over the west and far south on Friday. Fine elsewhere until a late shower over the east. And on Saturday, light showers contracting to the south in the evening. 32 and partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow. Some cloud over Adelaide and Melbourne, but sunny weather for Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane. Sunny and cool in Hobart, 13 at the moment, 14 in Launceston, 13 and a bit of cloud over Devonport. And just about that nasty quip before the break, Joe, about my horse racing tips. If I was a successful punter, I'd be retired already and you'd be stuck here by yourself without me.
Oh, all my dreams come true. Thank you very much for that, Murph. All right, have a lovely evening. We'll see you a bit later with updates. Bye for now.